Welcome back, everybody, to the Pitch Pod. Hopefully you enjoyed our last episode where we broke down what we thought was going to happen with Liverpool v. Man City. That was one exciting game, one excellent game. Unfortunately, my co-host, Joe Janner, couldn't make it last week. He was out sick, but he has made a pretty good recovery, and he's feeling better, so he's with us today. Joe, how you doing?
I am feeling better, thank you. Slow recovery, but much better than where I was. And it's exciting that here we are looking at a match day 12 that features fixtures midweek. A little bit something different for us to get started into, so I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it when it's midweek. Gives us something to focus on, kind of breaks it up a little bit. So, Liverpool, Man City, I know that neither of us hit those predictions, but I don't know anyone that really nailed those predictions. I didn't see that happening. Why don't you go ahead and break that down for our viewers and kind of let them know what they missed?
Well, I think they missed a whole heck of a lot considering Liverpool showed up on a couple different facets. One, had to do what they needed to do to defend. These guys now, that the back line, the selection that played on Sunday did well, holding Manchester City to 0. And in this game, when you get your one, as they did with Mohamed Salah, the 74th minute, it's all it took to get the job done. Very exciting in a sense. I mean, had all the drama as well with Klopp getting a red card and sent off in the 85th minute. And the end result was a 1-0 win for Liverpool. And like you said, I don't think a whole lot of folks, including ourselves, we missed it, but I don't think a whole lot of people really saw that happening, and that was a big result.
Yeah, it definitely was. And just a reminder, you predicted a draw 2-2. I predicted a win for Man City 2-1. Obviously, we were both wrong. However, when you compare that to what a lot of other analysts were saying, I think we're a little bit more balanced with what we were predicting. And not necessarily all about the hype, but really kind of analyzing the upcoming match and not forgetting that Liverpool is a quality football team. Maybe they're not having the season that they had last year, right? But they're still a great football club. So I think that even though we were off on our predictions, overall, it's still a pretty balanced attempt to remember, what Liverpool offers. They're a quality football team with a quality manager, and they showed up. They made changes prior to the game. I was a little bit concerned with them putting the ball in the back of the net. But their manager, I think made at least 6 lineup changes, which I didn't see coming, and obviously that had a major impact on the game.
I think so. I had to believe that whatever they did in training and related to their selection, that squad that was out there was there to get the job done, and they did. And that's what this is all about in terms of getting results. So, yeah, a lot of props to them. And this could be the match we start to see them turn around as far as then competing and getting the results they need to push themselves back up to the top of the table.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And really, Salah almost had 2 goals. That earlier one that just ricocheted off the goalie's glove. I could have sworn that was going to be the first goal of the game. So hats off to him. Hats off to the goalkeeper of Liverpool. They just played a really quality match. Looking ahead, we have Man United and the Spurs, 2 other quality football clubs out there. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you expect to happen with Man U and the Spurs for this upcoming match?
Looking at Spurs, where they sit the table at 3rd, record of 7-2-1, 23 points, and again in 3rd place, goals for, 22 goals against 10, I mean, their current form, the recent form, they've won 4 of the last 5, with their last loss coming to Arsenal several weeks back. I do think that they've been performing at the level that most have expected, and it's been pretty much as planned, if you will. I think for me, the one thing to question and consider, not knowing if others are even looking at this or addressing this idea, have they been challenged? Have they been in the contests that some of these others have been into to get the results, to have them where they stand as a third place team with 23 points? So I think going to this one, it's going to be a statement match in that they should, and I'll say it, be the better side, set up to beat Manchester United. But then again, is it going to be, are they going to be able to execute? And is that where the result's going to go? Without beginning to a prediction, just saying that from what we've seen, they do show, aside from where they stand on the table, to be the better side.
Yeah, that makes sense. Manchester United, I do have some questions about what's going on with the club. You know, obviously not having inside knowledge of what's happening, but can you speak a little bit about the Ronaldo situation? And obviously in the past, he's just been a star, dominant player, but this season, for whatever reason, he's not getting in the game as much as we'd like. A little bit quieter, not as many goals or impactful moments that you would expect to see out of a star like that. Part of me thinks, hey, maybe age is catching up to this guy. It's inevitable. It's going to happen at some point. Part of me is also thinking, is there something going on with the team? Is there some drama behind the scenes, an injury? What's your take on that situation?
I think a lot of us from the outside looking in are wondering what's going on. You think just at the time when he starts to be in favor and he's getting more playing time and he's getting the results. I think 2 weeks ago he has the winner and he's featured and he's starting. However, he's coming out early. I think I saw footage of him, the camera shot of him, obviously upset coming out early in this last week's match. I'd like to figure out a way. I would like to see how they do just to go along with this guy is the guy, make it happen. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C is featuring Ronaldo in this lineup and getting it done around that. So for it to be kind of back and forth, if you will, we're not really sure it's this, just as it seems to be working towards a resolve, if you will, then it sets itself back. It's just continuing to be indicative of the problems that are within the club. And I think there's lots of people out there speaking on that, but as many people still questioning, well, what is the deal?
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like in the recent past, he was, the age question wasn't really that a big determinant with him. He's been dominant these previous seasons, so maybe there's something going on that we're not fully aware of. But yeah, you make a good point. Maybe it's just as simple as he's not happy with how they're being managed at the moment. Another question that comes to mind is Eriksen, their dominant midfielder. He's been out with some illness, and I don't expect him to be in top shape if he does, in fact, play. So that's going to make an impact on the game one way or the other. I do expect that he'll play. I do expect to see him out on the pitch a little bit. But it's hard to come back from an illness, as you know. It takes a while to recover that endurance.
Absolutely.
And so I think he'll be out there from time to time, but I think they'll be subbing him and monitoring him quite a bit. So that's definitely factoring into my prediction for this week is their main guy. His status is still questionable. Yeah, he'll be in the game, but he's not going to be in top shape. That's kind of where I'm at with that. What else comes to you when you kind of look at this upcoming match? Man U, Spurs. What else is there that we need to discuss here before we break down our?
I do think it's worth looking at Spurs and how they're set up. Conte not going to go off the script, if you will, and do anything too much different running at the 1-3-4-2-1. You know that they're going to be a little more conservative in a sense and setting back a little bit, looking to counter as needed as they can. With a team like United, if they're not getting up and they're not attacking, they will still have a means, a way to go about possessing the ball and controlling the game. I think that's a lot part of what we're going to see. And it's just being able to spring the counter when the opportunity presents itself. You have good pace still with Son and Kane and the ability to quickly transition to attack. And I think that's how we're going to see a couple goals scored. So I really am looking at Spurs scoring 2 and United, with where they are and where they've been with what they've been putting out, maybe getting 1. I mean, again, even though this is Spurs away, I got them scoring 2, United with just the 1. So that's where I stand. I think that's just a Spurs win away to establish themselves as the dominant side of the 2 to win. 2-1 to win Spurs.
Yeah, so 2-1, I could definitely see that playing out. Spurs, they've been playing real well. And you make a good point. When it comes to guys that can put the ball in the back of the net, Kane is up there. I think he's number 2 in the league as far as scoring goes. I fully expect him to kind of continue that pace for the rest of the season. So you got a point there. They have some finishers on their club. I'm not going to go for a Spurs win, however, just because it is a home game for Man U. They've been playing good football. I do expect to see Eriksen on the field from time to time, and even though he's not in top form, he'll still be making a positive impact to some degree. So I'm going to go, this is my first one. This is my first episode when I've done this, but I'm going to go with a draw of 1-1. So that's what I expect to see.
Okay.
I know it's not an exciting prediction, nothing controversial, it's pretty bland, pretty vanilla. But that's what I feel is going to happen. So I'm going to leave it at my prediction, and I'm going to write this down because I will forget otherwise.
Yes.
But I have a draw.
Write that down. Make note.
Taking it 2-1. I'm writing it down. After last week, gosh, hopefully one of us can hit it right on the head this time.
I think those are both fair. I don't think it's going too far out. Again, a midweek fixture has in it a sense of carrying something a little bit different, feel-wise performance for both clubs, a little bit different training regimen. And I think it's been some time since both have been asked to do so, at least in league play. So I think that's some of what we could see as well. So I think it's probably fair both. Then maybe the second goal that I had tallied for Spurs comes from something that was out of the ordinary, out of an extraordinary feat, or something, a bad call or something that needs to go there. So, could it be a fair number there? Because otherwise I may have looked to go that way to draw. So I'm seeing something's going to come out of nowhere, I think, for that second goal for the Spurs, or one of the 2 goals is going to be out of something that a lot of us are going to be going back going, well, what was that? How did that happen? Something controversial, maybe even.
Yeah. Maybe a tackle in the box leading to a PK, perhaps.
It happens.
Yeah, I can see that playing out. The Man U fans would not be happy with that, but it does happen. And to go along with our outro, anything can happen in this game. No one expected Liverpool to pull that off in this prior match day. The analysts on the network TV, they were predicting a blowout, and the majority of them were predicting 3-1, Man City winning, and they got completely shut out. Haaland had some opportunities. He had his head on the ball for some crosses, and he was in the mix. He did a quality job that match. No fault to him by any means, but I think that's something unique that we offer at the Pitch Pod. is we're not just looking at the numbers necessarily. We're looking at a whole bunch of different aspects, and we're not just giving you that vanilla, bland prediction that maybe some of those networks are giving you. We're giving different types of flavors, and just like you said, you just have a feeling something's going to happen, and you're running with that.
Right.
Me, on the other hand, I'm going kind of boring here, 1-1 this week. But if you look at our past week's predictions, you said 2-2 draw. I said 2-1 Man City, fairly close, indicating that we didn't think it would be a blowout by any means. And really, I don't know how many analysts I saw on TV kind of laughing off the idea that Liverpool would even have a chance.
Wow.
Forgetting the club, forgetting the legacy, the coaching staff. And so I think that is something unique that we offer at the Pitch Pod, a more balanced perspective with the big picture in mind, as opposed to just looking at the weekly stats and running off that.
I would agree. I hope that's where people make a decision to tune in to have another perspective that's different in that sense. And so thank you for all that tuning in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the episode. We'll be coming out with another one for the next match day. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Pitch Pod. Please like, subscribe, and as always, of course, keep pitching out there.
In a game, the round ball, round posts, anything can happen.